My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we will be basking in the glory of the WWE Basic Series 104, Keith Lee. And so here we have the limitless Keith Lee posed and out of the packaging. Now, unfortunately, because he is a basic figure, he does not come with any accessories, so let's move on to his details. And so here we have a better look at Keith Lee. Now, Mattel did a good job on this face sculpt. It does look like Keith Lee before he grew his goatee and beard, so kudos to the likeness. However, I do feel like it's missing something. Like, that charm that is Keith Lee really isn't there. I mean, he does have a smirk, but they could have done so much more with this face sculpt just to show that it is Keith Lee, and I think they did a really poor job representing that. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad face sculpt, I'm just saying that Keith Lee has so much more charm and charisma that this figure really doesn't do a good job capturing. Now, given that this is from an earlier NXT run, I still think that they could have added just a little more character to this figure, just because he kind of looks plain. He doesn't seem like he brings anything to the table, so I do find that a little bit unfortunate. Now, having a look at the figure, let's actually see that they did use, I want to say this is a unique torso for Keith Lee. I don't collect too many basic figures, and if I do, it's mainly first time in the lines NXT characters until they get elite releases, so let me know if this is a unique torso or not, because I'm pretty sure that they have not used this torso before, or if they have, it's probably for Samoa Joe. I don't know. Again, let me know down in the comments if they used this torso before. Really do like the size of the arms. I think they did a good job on his arm size. His hands do seem a little bit oversized. Now, the one time I would expect Mattel to release a figure with nothing but fists, they let me down, and they gave Keith Lee two open hands. One closed grip hand, one open grip hand. Now, I would have liked to see two fists for Keith Lee. Now, he does have an elbow pad right here, as you can see. On the back of his tights, it does say Limitless, which Keith Lee does appear to be limitless. There doesn't seem to be anything he can't do for a man of his size. We do have the heart and crown right here, and of course, the KL for Keith Lee. We do have big knee pads on him, and they are pretty big. He's a really big guy, so they had to make big knee pads for him. We do have his boots, which do look good. They're just plain black boots. Now, I don't know if this is a variant or this is the standard issue. I know that Keith Lee does have a chase variant, which I'm pretty sure it's the black trunks. The blue trunks are probably the standard release. I'll have to double check that, but overall, I do like the way Keith Lee looks, and for what he is, he's just going to stand in my display until they release an elite Keith Lee, which hopefully they capture his face a little better. And maybe his skin tone is also throwing me off. Maybe his skin tone is just a little bit too light. But overall, I think they did a good job with Keith Lee here. So let's actually compare him to other figures you may have in your collection. So here we have Keith Lee posed next to an elite Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And once again, Mattel has grossly overestimated the size of the NXT character. Keith Lee is 6'2", putting him at this exact same height of Jeff Hardy. Brock Lesnar being 6'4", should be the tallest amongst this bunch, but as you can see, Keith Lee stands above them all. It's time that they all bask in his glory. And so here we have Keith Lee posed next to an undersized Tommaso Ciampa and an oversized Matt Riddle. And finally, here we have Keith Lee posed next to an elite Batista and an elite Undertaker. So with the comparisons out of the way, I had no idea he was much taller than he was supposed to be until getting him compared to other figures. That is a little bit unfortunate. So moving on to his articulation, he does have the standard basic articulation, which is just a simple ball joint, but because his head sits so low on the neck, his head only moves up and down that much. We don't get any head tilt, unfortunately, and his swivel is very limited. He can't look all the way around. As you can see, it just hits his traps right here, so that's unfortunate. Arms do go out to about that far. You kind of have to tuck them in because they do kind of hit his torso. Once you tuck them in, they do go all the way out, do a full 360. No bicep swivel, but we do have a single hinge at the elbow, giving us a little less than 90 degrees actually, and then we do have some rotation. We have rotation and hinge at the wrist. We have no abdomen articulation, which is unfortunate. Swivel at the waist. Legs only kick out to about that far. Could be much better, unfortunately, but they go back so much better. Why can't they do that going forward? No outward movement because it's just a simple swivel. We have single bend at the knee, which gives us a little less than 90 degrees. Swivel at the boot and nothing in the ankle. So overall articulation is lackluster, but that's what you expect anytime you pick up a basic figure, and he's just going to do one thing, and that's just look like Keith Lee in my display. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to my final thoughts. And so here we have Keith Lee posed for my final thoughts, and overall I'm pretty much let down by just about every aspect of this figure. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice stand-in for Keith Lee until we get an elite version, but I'm starting to feel like maybe Mattel has two different scales going on here. We have the elite scale and we have the basic scale, because this Keith Lee is kind of tall, and Matt Riddle suffered the same thing. They were just too tall, and I don't know why that's happening, but Mattel does seem to have the scales off a little bit. Now, Keith Lee here is a basic figure, so you're only going to pay $10 for him. If it was up to me, I would say skip this figure entirely. If you really, really need a Keith Lee in your display, this is the only way you can get him at the moment. I'm pretty sure he has an elite release scheduled sometime in the future, but I honestly can't recommend this basic figure for anybody unless you're desperately looking for a Keith Lee. Now, like I said, he will run you about $10, which is standard for a basic figure. My best thing that I can tell you right now, guys, is just pass on this figure. He doesn't bring anything interesting to the table, and I'm pretty sure the elite figure is going to be much better than this. So yeah, just go ahead and skip this Keith Lee unless you're desperate for one in your collection. And with that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.